Welcome to eJoy's teacher training course for Science Fusion GK through G5. On our format slide here, it summarizes the book and our lesson plans for the course. Now the book has 10 core units and GK through G3. G4 has 11 units and G5 has 15 units. GK actually has instructions written on each page to help guide the lessons. But please bring in other pictures, games, your drawing tool to be able to teach the skills for that lesson. These students are low English and/or low attention span students, so they need that interaction. Now starting in G1 and throughout the rest of the levels, each unit is divided into lessons along with articles that teach technology, people in science, and careers in science. Additionally, there are lesson plans available to help give new teachers more help in preparing for their G1 and G2 classes. Each lesson plan has additional auxiliary questions, more illustrations, and more exercises. If you are teaching a student that is G3 to G5, you can go back to these lesson plans and look at the style that they were written in. They can give you some ideas of things that you can bring into your lessons, like charts or activities that can help make the lessons in G3 through G5 more interactive. Back over here in the green section, at the end of each lesson, there is a summary of the key points taught in the lesson. Now, many times these will be assigned as homework in the G1 and G2, but we can also use these as a review. And at the end of each unit, there is a unit review. These are excellent for checking not only for comprehension, but retention. What are they remembering? Let's look at a sample class. This is from Science Fusion G1, Unit 1, Lesson 1, very beginning. Remember, we need to warm up. One good way is to ask questions at the beginning. And at the beginning of this lesson plan are some questions. You can ask them, what are senses? How can we use our senses? As the student answers the questions, you'll be given an indication as to what you may need to focus on during the class instruction. If they already know what their senses are, then you want to focus more on what can we learn from those senses? How can we apply this in science? And if they don't know those senses, then this is right where they need to be, because we're going to teach it in the next few pages. From this slide through the rest of the lesson, the slides are broken up with a page from the book on the left-hand side and a page from the lesson plan on the right-hand side. Have the student find and read the essential question. Now you can help them by circling it, underlining it, pointing, drawing an arrow to it. But this is what the lesson, the main point of the lesson is. What are senses and other tools that scientists use to be able to find out more information? So you might want to bring in that point. There's also additional information over here in the lesson plan. You can bring in, what do you see back here in the background? What's going on? And then read the engage your brain. What sense is this child trying not to use? Ah, how do you know that? What are they doing? Oh, they're holding their nose. And there's another additional activity if you want to bring this in to make it more interactive. You can have them tell you which of these objects smell good, or circle them. Which objects smell bad, or mark them out, put an X on them. Now, because these are beginning level students, we want them to practice their reading. So have them read the paragraphs on each page. The lesson plan also has auxiliary questions, or you can make up some of your own. For instance, how many senses do you have? Do they know that? Can they count them over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there we go. We got 5 senses. You can have them write numbers on there if you want. Which one do you think is the most important? Oh, okay. I can see that. I wouldn't want to go without my eyesight. So you can make it individual to that student. Help bring in their thoughts and what they think about it. Now, as you can see here, we're on page 4 in the book, but already this is talking about page 5 here. Be familiar with your lesson plan so that you can keep your lesson plan and your pages together. You get over here to page 5, and you want to highlight each of these pictures and what it's trying to bring out in the boxes. There's also a game here that you can play. Some children need the practice with, okay, nose smell, ears hear, and you can use this game to help them with that. Not all children feel comfortable with that, so you don't have to. Not all teachers feel comfortable with that, so you don't have to. You can bring in something else. There's also a matching exercise before you go on to page 6. This is a good place to be able to help them for the visual learners and the reading learners, the sight learners. They get both of these. They get their reading, they get their sight, and they can also work on their spelling here. They get to see that. Now this is where in page 6 and 7 the practical application starts to come in. The rest of the class time can be used to do the exercises that are going to really reinforce how and why they should use their senses. Help them to see how is it that hearing can help a scientist? How is it that touching something can help us learn more? How do our senses help us to learn? As you can see, there's lots of exercises over here in the lesson plan that you can add to it, or again, use your own. Now, these lessons were made to be 30-minute lessons. If you're having a student that is transitioning from GK to G1, they may still need a little bit of time to get used to using English. They may not be like some of our other students that already know a lot of English and they just need to learn the vocabulary and the concepts. And so if this is a student that is still learning their English, you may stop right here with your 30 minutes. And that's good. That's what this was made for, to help them advance to that. For those students, you want to make sure you do your review, but then explain to them the homework. What is the homework and what will they be doing? Have them repeat it back to you to make sure that they understand the homework. Many of them are just learning to do homework. So they need to know what they're doing, how to do it, so that they can feel successful when they come back to their next class with their homework. Now for those other students that their English is really well, they have buzzed through the lessons, are going quickly, and you have covered this information in 15 minutes. Don't hold them back. Continue taking them on to the rest of it'll be lesson 2 in the lesson plan, but it'll still be lesson 1 in the book. Introduce to them the tools and continue going through the lesson plan for lesson 1, just like we did with this last one, and teach them based on the speed that they can work at. Okay, so in summary, don't forget to warm up. Bring in extra questions and teaching aids. Commend the students for the successes that they're making. Teach them and review the vocabulary and skills, and make sure that they understand their homework. Most importantly, have fun with the student. Let them have fun during this class. Learning science is a fun activity. Thank you for attending this training session.